Update. Am I the a-hole for insisting my brother's girlfriend proves she's pregnant or she has to move out? Original story. My female 20 brother 24 has been on and off with his girlfriend 27 for a couple of years now. It's been the same song and dance. They're happy for a few weeks, then something small happens, they argue, it gets really nasty, and they make up and back to being a loving couple. When I learned my brother got kicked out of his apartment and needed a place to stay, I offered him the extra room in my apartment, and my brother agreed to pay rent, help with the bills, and pitch in with food. For 3 months now, she's been announcing she's pregnant. She alone will eat a snack box with 50 small bags of chips in a week. I tried to reason with her and get her to cut back. Not only from overeating, but she was running us low on food. But she insists she and the baby are healthy, and it's just cravings, blah blah blah. Since last month, most of what my parents sends to my house. My mom is a couponer, so she bulks shops and give away what she has too much of. My brother's girlfriend is the first to get into it, and a large portion of it is gone by a few days to a week. From a 24 case of Monster, the energy drink if you're not familiar, 8 will be gone in a week from just her. She eats a hell of a lot of food too, most of which no pregnant woman should be consuming so much of. And yes, I know all pregnancies are different, but words can't explain how much she eats in one sitting. So today I had seen her drinking coffee, and after her second cup I asked her if she should be drinking so much, and she said her doctor told her it was fine and she had no worries. When I suggested she take on a healthier diet for the baby, she just scoffed and walked out. I went and asked my brother if he's been to any of her doctor appointments or even seen a positive pregnancy test, and he said he didn't. I confronted her about it, and she said she didn't have to prove anything and started to get defensive. I told her she needed to show a test or some proof of going to the doctor, or she needs to move out if she doesn't help at all. My brother started defending her and changed his answer from not seeing any proof to seeing her pregnancy test. My parents got word of what I said, and my mom says I was in no place to say anything and every woman's body is different, and I wouldn't know since I've never been pregnant. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Kinda not the a-hole. Asking for proof is extreme, but she's also eating you out of house and home. Even if she's actually pregnant, she probably needs to find a place of her own and get herself her own food. Do you really want a family of 3 living with you when the mom and dad have a crap show of a relationship? Spoiler alert, you do not. Yeah, I see I was wrong for that. He said he only needed a few months to get back on their feet and to get his own place again. So I wasn't worried about them still living with me in the future. Except they haven't moved out, and depending on your lease, they could be considered tenants now, meaning you would have a hell of a hard time kicking them out. If she won't contribute financially, tell her she needs to buy her own groceries, or with your brother, and they're no longer allowed to eat your groceries at all. Not today home, and if your mother is so concerned, maybe she should house your brother and his girlfriend. She's the one that forced my brother to get his own apartment by kicking him out, because she was sick of their arguing. You're the a-hole. You don't need to know she's pregnant. Just say, you're eating all my food. I need you to start buying your own food or paying extra rent to cover it. Accusing someone of faking a pregnancy doesn't usually end well. And if she is, she can just fake a miscarriage, and you're still the a-hole. I know she's being ridiculous and it's hard to watch, but right now she's just looping you into a cycle of drama that she has with your brother. Don't tell pregnant women, or women pretending to be pregnant, what to eat or drink. In general, don't comment on what other people eat or drink at all. If the problem is that she's eating and drinking your food, the solution isn't to police her diet. It's to tell her to stop or make her pay for it. Edit. I did talk to her a while ago about getting a job as well as helping out financially, and she said she'd start and never has. Right, so based on majority of the comments, I overstepped, yes. But I'm going to go with my gut on this one and give them their 30 days notice and call it a day. I'll for sure update you guys in a month, when they're to be gone, and let you all who's interested know what's happened by then. I keep repeating myself, so let me add my brother knows everything I've said. The excessive caffeine, no ultrasound, etc. Yes, my brother still buys her tampons monthly, and I know this because it goes with me when I buy mine. No, I was not faking concern about a coffee comment. She drinks 2 cups of coffee a day along with a Monster. That's a ton of caffeine. And now for the update. Okay, so I gave my brother and his girlfriend a 30 days notice. They were to leave this Friday, but as of last Friday, I have my place to myself again. Basically, they fed me a bunch of lies since I gave them the 30 days notice. First, it was she can't get an appointment or an ultrasound because of all of the COVID patients. Then brother's girlfriend shows me a sonogram picture of her phone that I later found on Google Images. I asked why it was on her phone, and she said it was emailed to her after her doctor's appointment that she couldn't get. Then my brother brought home baby clothes last week, to sell the lie, I guess, but they weren't clothes for a newborn. It was a lot of 9 to 12 months and 2 T's. When I asked him why none were proper clothes for newborns, he said, so he can grow into them. Was told she was pregnant with a girl. I didn't bother to ask any more questions because I knew it was going to be lies on top of lies. Then Friday got home to them arguing at each other's throats. Eventually I called the cops because they weren't letting up. At this point, they both had to come clean with the truth. Brother's truth. His girlfriend is the reason he was kicked out of his place. Then she needed a place to stay because her parents kicked her out. So she forced him to let her stay in my house by faking being pregnant. He said after the first month, he knew she wasn't pregnant because she got her period, but she forced him to keep up the lie so I'd let her stay. Girlfriend's truth. Brother invited her to stay at my place, and to make sure I wouldn't say no, he told her to fake a pregnancy and I'd be sympathetic. Won't go into detail, but I'm 100% certain that part she said was true, and I wouldn't question her using tampons as I'll make up a lie for her. She said he told her to eat up all of the food because it'll make it all seem legit. So that's about all. I'm still unsure who's telling the truth, but they both got all of their belongings and went their own way, I assume, so it's not my problem anymore. Great update. Glad you followed your feeling. You don't need a drama. It could have backfired. Luckily it didn't. Still sucks he used my past against me, but it is what it is. Can only move forward from here. Know what relationship you have with your brother. He sees no issue with lying to you for whatever profit. Keep that in mind, and take care. Thanks for the update. And obviously the trash took itself out now and you have your home back. And you know neither of them can ever be trusted. Right? Thank goodness Opie threw them out before it got to the miscarriage part of their story. So your brother and his girlfriend both admitted to lying to you. Who cares which one had idea first? In order to manipulate and take advantage of you? Yep, you're well rid of them. Let your mom know the situation so they can't try the same crap with her. Yeah, I came here to say this too. She was living with 2 manipulative liars. Doesn't really matter which one is better at coming up with stories. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for snapping at my wife and calling her selfish? I never loved my daughter. Not really. I always hated the idea of children, so me and my wife, but mostly me, were super careful. One way or the other though, she got pregnant. I know it happens sometimes, but my wife didn't want to get rid of the baby. We talked about it for a bit, but eventually we agreed to keep the baby because I didn't want to make her feel like she had to do something she didn't want to, especially with her child. So, boom, baby. Except after she had the baby, it didn't seem like she was taking care of her as much as she should have. Sometimes I would come home from work and the baby would be alone with my wife, nowhere to be seen. I didn't want the baby to live a life of being neglected. I'd have us never give her a chance of a good childhood, so I tried to take care of the baby when I could. Admittedly, I was very bad at it. I didn't know how to take care of a baby, which is something I should have begun researching when it was confirmed we were having the baby. I was also never really mentally prepared to care for a baby, as I had never wanted one, and, truth be told, really despised children and taking care of them. But regardless, I still tried to take care of her when my wife wasn't around, which was a lot of time. Fast forward 15 years, my daughter is now 15 years old. I've taken care of this child, put her into school, spent money that I worked for on this kid that I never even wanted, for 15 years now. But my wife still seems to be absent for the child. One evening we were eating dinner, and my wife was talking about how good of a baby she raised. I snapped at her and told her that she had never raised this baby, and that she was selfish for pushing her choice on me. Everything got quiet after that, and we just sort of all left. I know that she was never present for our daughter, and I guess everything from the past years just boiled over. But mostly, I feel bad about saying it in front of my daughter. I don't want her to feel like she's responsible or blame herself for me and my wife's relationship. I want her to live a good life, and I don't want our conflict to ruin that for her. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. So you announced to your daughter that you never wanted her and that your wife forced her on you? You're the a-hole. Honestly, none of the rest of the context matters. This. He could have gotten the vasectomy if it was that big of a deal to him. Poor child is the only party not the a-hole here. Good grief, OP. I understand feeling resentful of your wife's absence, but you should have looked into resolving those issues years ago, rather than spewing them in front of your daughter. Edit. I'm not saying he should have gotten a vasectomy no matter what, but it was a potential option if he knew he despised children so much. Alternatively, he could have left the relationship when his wife decided to keep the baby. But since he decided to stay, he could have made an effort to alter his perception on children, rather than internalizing and spewing the same negativity towards them 15 years later. Everyone sucks here except your daughter. Poor child being told she was never wanted. Congrats, Dad. You've just ensured that she will need therapy for the rest of her life to get over the way you feel about her. Everyone sucks here and you're the a-hole just for the weird attached way you talk about your child and how you resent her. Yikes. The two of you should have put her up for adoption, and at least given her a small chance of being loved. Also, what you said about your daughter being your wife's choice that she pushed on you is absolutely horrendous. I can't believe you said that in front of your daughter. I hope you've got money for therapy for your poor kid. She didn't ask for any of this. You all suck, except the child. I'm seeing a lot of put her up for adoption comments, but I wonder, did the wife who decided to keep the child he didn't want also decide to not allow the adoption for the child he didn't want but she wanted? And that she didn't even have to raise because he did it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents that my brother is not welcome in my house? I don't think I've done something wrong here, but since most of my relatives say I am, I might as well take some further judgment to see if I'm doing something that I haven't realized yet. I'm engaged to a wonderful woman. We are both 25 years old. I've been with her since we were 18. It's been 7 years, and finally we're financially ready to move to our first house. Before we could make the decision to live together in our own place, she stayed over at my house for the past 2 years of the pandemic. We decided it would be best for her to save money for our future house instead of spending it on rent. Her parents also live in another state, so they're far away, and she couldn't stay with them. We got engaged a bit before COVID hit, and been living in my house since. My brother sometimes lives in this house, but he's also got his own place. The house we're living in is my parents'. My brother is a very inappropriate person who never knows where to stop with his jokes. He's implied he's a better fit for my fiancée as a joke. He's flirted with her multiple times while she's visibly uncomfortable. And when I defend my fiancé and tell my brother to leave her alone, he makes fun of me for being insecure that he'll steal my girl. And my mother always justifies him and says he's just joking and I'm overreacting. Last week, during a fight my mom had with my brother basically owes money to my mom, and my mom simply said she wants the money back. She needs it. My brother then insulted my fiancé out of nowhere, telling my mom, if you need the money so much, go get them from that W your other son bangs, who stays rent-free in our house for the past 2 years, and she hasn't put a penny in it. I overheard him saying that, and we got in a huge fight. For the record, my fiancé helps a lot with the house, not only in housework but financially too. But due to the fact her paycheck is lower than mine, she gives less money than I do because she can't afford to give more. But she still helps, so my brother's claim is baseless. After some back and forth insults with my brother, he left and I told my mom he's not allowed to step a foot in my new house. Thankfully, my fiancé was at work during that fight, so she didn't hear a thing. But I told my mom that him making my fiancé uncomfortable for 2 years straight was bad enough, but him calling her a W is the last straw, and he won't be allowed anywhere near her ever again. My mom, dad, and basically many of my aunts, uncles, and cousins found out about this and claimed I'm the a-hole, and grateful for daring to ban my brother from my house, and how I should be ashamed to say that. Am I? Not the a-hole. Your house, your rules. Sounds like a dirtbag, to be honest. I hope you and your fiancé have a smooth move-in, and congrats on the new house. 2 years is a long time for your fiancé to endure that type of mistreatment in her own residence. You're the a-hole for not putting a stop to it from the very beginning. Like if that was me, the confrontation would have been loud and severe on day 1. Day 2, if he as so much makes another flirt, yelling would ensue, and no contact until he shapes up and genuinely shows me he changed. I would make that crap awkward as hell that it would freeze it. Grow a backbone, homie. At minimum, it will be your house. And if you don't want him there for any reason, that's your choice. He has continuously disrespected your fiancé and your relationship. No one would want to openly invite that into their house. First of all, you don't have to explain your girlfriend's finances at all. And I would put a stop to that the second he brings it up. Your brother took money from your mom, so he owes it. Nothing else going on in her life matters. Doesn't matter if she lets a million girls stay in her house for free. He owes your mom money and is deflecting responsibility. Your mom? She's an enabler who seems like nurtured this behavior. Even if he's the nicest guy in the world, you're allowed to have boundaries. You can't refuse to allow anyone in your home for any reason. Not only is he nasty to your girlfriend, he's a misogynist, nasty to your mom, a bad brother, and manipulative. People like that only wreak havoc in your life. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for buying my daughter a car for her birthday? My ex and I are divorced. My ex now has a new family, including a son with her new husband. They're 2 years apart, 18 and 16. They both live with my ex and her husband. So after buying my daughter a car for her birthday, my ex gave me a call to tell me that it wasn't fair to buy one kid a car but not the other, now that they both have their license. I can't really understand that perspective since he is not my son. He's hers. She told me that they're still siblings who live together, and now she has a car while he doesn't. She said they can't afford to get him one and that she can tell is jealous and it hurt him. She said she understood where it was coming from, but she still thought it was wrong to get one a car but not the other. I do feel for the kid even though he isn't my own, and his mother and father aren't as financially stable as myself. Edit. In the past, I've gotten him a gift for Christmas, PS5 and some games that my daughter picked out, last year. Just because I know his parents can't afford it for Christmas, and I spent a lot on my daughter. And my justification for it was that I didn't want him to feel left out. So I think that's where she got the idea from. So that's my fault. I let his mom give it to him as if they had bought it, just so that it didn't make things between my ex and her new husband awkward. Not today, home. Just because your ex wants equality between her bio kid and his step kid doesn't mean you can't buy nice gifts for your bio kid. Ex's other kid is not your relation. You didn't do this to make the other kid feel bad. He just has no relation to you. You did a nice thing for your daughter, that's the be-all end-all. What does your ex want? You to include her step kid in your inheritance? When does this end? Can you no longer buy nice things for your own daughter? From your ex's response, I can understand why she's an ex. Utterly unreasonable and clueless with it to try to make this your problem. I think she reacted the way she did since last year I bought her son a PS5 and some games, upon my daughter's suggestion, for Christmas, so that he wouldn't felt left out when he got my daughter more expensive gifts than his parents would be giving him. So I sort of set the standard. Not today, home. Not your kid. Not your financial concern. I want a car too at his age. Guess what? I work jobs to save up for one. Either his parents or himself can do that. Can't stand entitled people trying to push your limit just because you were generous with past gifts.